Hey, 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 welcome to Ladies Night, where you get the woman's insights. I am your host, First Lady Tammy. I'm joined by my lovely, lovely ladies. Can we see our lovely, lovely ladies? All righty, I'm going to introduce everybody. We have Kris, the blooming Ebony. Hey, Kris. We have Melissa. Hey, Melissa. We have Luann Love. Hey, Luann. We have Dominique. Hey, Dominique. We have Queen. What's going on, Queen?
Hey, guys.
We have Jessica. Hey, Jessica.
Hey.
All right. And we have Mrs. M3. What's going on, Mrs. M3? Hey, Jessica. And then we have Danielle.
Hi.
What's going on? How are you ladies doing?
Wonderful.
Doing really, really good.
Yes, I know I'm excited. I know you ladies are excited.
Yes,
we are.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. How's everybody's day been?
Been relaxed.
it's been good.
Yeah.
Sorry about that echo. I had a mute.
Yes. Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. So I gotta tell y'all, ladies, I was super, super, super excited about our ladies stream to get the women's point of view and all kinds of different things. So yes, this is our topic about what it means to be unified, women's empowerment. Yes, I think this is a lovely beginning topic for our very first of many women's streams. So I'm gonna just do a little round of applause. And I just want to say I really am so happy to see all you ladies here. I think we're gonna do an amazing job and have a really amazing time. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with our first question. All righty, so our very first question is, what does it mean to be united and what is keeping women from being united? So we're just gonna go around and get, everybody's input. So we're gonna start with Kris, the blooming Ebony. What do you think it means to be united and what do you think is keeping women from being unified?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. What it means to be united, in my opinion, is to respect other people's viewpoints, and to also be able to acknowledge like weaknesses and strengths, and work together to either minimize those weaknesses, turn them into strengths, and also celebrate strengths as well. And I think the second half was what is keeping women from being unified. I
Yeah.
think the divide honestly comes from us not respecting each other's viewpoints, and just feeling like a woman has to be defined a certain type of way and you have to fit into that box and not understand that there are, unique women, and, women want different things, and they value different things. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. What do you think, Melissa?
Like unified as women, you mean? Or just in general? Okay, so for unified as women, I just feel like it also comes with a place of maturity. I just feel like if you're very mature, like you don't have to have the need or feeling that you need to compete with another female. You should just always be competing with yourself and making sure that you're great. And it's just like a lot of times there's a lot of cattiness, but when you surround yourself with a great group of women, I just feel like you can be unified. And it's all about, yes, we all come from different walks of life and different upbringings, but it's just that we have to realize that everybody, doesn't matter how rich, poor, whatever, like everybody goes through certain things in life. And if we can just like have a united front when it comes to just like our moral compass of just being kind. And
Right.
trust me, I'm human. Sometimes, you screw up and you mess up.
Right.
But it's just about like having accountability and at least like apologizing and trying to change your behavior after that. So I just think that also it stems from like society and also like misogyny, or what we feel like, oh, this woman has this, so that must mean that I'm not this, or like it's just like mentality of all of that being combined and together. And I just feel like also comes from a place of insecurity why a lot of women can't be united when we should, because at the end of the day, like if we want to be able to do things in the world, like we have to be united. We have no other option or choice. And it's like if we are dismantled within our own like womanhood community, like how do we expect like other people or men or whatever to treat us as well? So I just feel like we need to like learn from past behavior or just try to do better, even though we can't be perfect all the time. But I just feel like that would be a start.
Nice. So far, ladies, you guys are doing awesome. That's what you said.
Thanks. Who are you? You're a really good host.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, Luann, what you got? What do you think? It means to be unified, and what is keeping women from being unified?
I think to be unified means to come together, to have your own, to have these different opinions all come together, and we can learn from each other from those different opinions. Now, what keeps us from being unified, I believe, is jealousy of another of our own. You see another sister being successful. She may be a little bit more, she may have a little bit more, husband, children, white picket fence, and you want those things. And so because she has these things, you want to be, you just, it's not that you're mad or you're angry with the person. It's just naturally hateration or natural jealousy of another one.
Yeah. Nice answer. Very nice. All righty, Damo. How you doing, Damo?
I'm doing good. I had a relaxing day.
Nice.
So my opinion kind of goes into what Kris was saying. When it comes to what unified means, I think it really is just respecting each other and who you are and the differences that we have, because we're, like everyone said, we're all from different backgrounds. We all grew up differently. We may have different friends that we hang around, maybe hang around different cultures, like I do. And it's very different in what being a woman is, or what, respect is, or what a woman should do and shouldn't do. So I think that if we just respect that someone might be different than us, or someone might be younger than us, but they might know a little bit more because of their experiences, I think that's what needs to be unified. And as far as what keeps us from being unified, I would say the same thing, not respecting that someone just might be different. For example, I hang around with mostly guys, and I have a friend who's from a country that it's not okay to really hang out with people who are, gay or, homosexual or, transgender. And I watched him not have any care in the world about hanging out with a gay guy that was my friend as well. And it's just like, guys, they don't care about a lot of these things. You can be poor and they can have money and they'll hang out with you and be like, oh, bro, what's up? You can, I've seen mentally challenged, people hang out and they're, regular guys just around them like, yeah, what's up? But we look at everything as like, is that gonna, how is someone gonna look at me for hanging out with someone like that? Or how is someone gonna judge me, and then you're not even half the time on that level to be even saying that. Just love everybody else and like chill out. We need to chill out. There we go.
Yes, definitely.
Chill out. Good job.
So I just want to give a shout out to Gator Girl. Hey Gator Girl, how you doing? So she has a comment. She says, great comment. Our unity is built on a shared commitment to not tear down with our comments and actions, but to build up every single chance we get. I can definitely concur with that. I concur with that. Nice. Thank you for that comment, Gator Girl. You are appreciated. All righty, let's get to Queen.
Hello.
Hey, Queen. How are you doing?
I'm good. I had a very relaxing day. I meal prepped for all the shifts I'm gonna be doing this week. So yeah, I'm ready to go.
Nice. Okay, so the question was, what does it mean to be united and what is keeping women from being unified?
I think everyone hit what's going on. But I think unity just means, like everyone said, is just respecting someone else's opinion, supporting each other, as a African American woman, supporting my business and not saying, oh, that shirt costs too much money, I'm gonna go to the other people, like not always wanting a handout, but just really supporting and cheering each other on and providing resources for each other. Something someone else needs. Hey, well, I know that. And I think what keeps us from that is, I feel like we feel like we're each other's competition. And there's enough room for all of us to shine. No one is my competition and I'm no one's competition. I'm my own person, and I think that's when it becomes hating and jealousy and backbiting and, and cattiness. And unfortunately, Black women have a very bad rap for that, And so, so I think that's what it is.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you for your input, Queen. All righty, Jessica. How you doing, Jessica?
Great. How are y'all?
We're doing pretty good. I was thinking by myself, but I think everybody else here is doing amazing. Everybody looks amazing.
Where are you from? Are you from the South?
Yes, I'm from Alabama, but I live in Tennessee now. So.
Oh, okay. I was like, when you said y'all, I was like, ooh, she's from the South.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So the question is, what does it mean to be unified, and what does it mean to be united, and what keeps women from being unified?
Yeah, so I think what Dom mentioned earlier, I had always hung out with people from different cultures. My best friend from childhood is an amazing Black woman named Chanel Bell, and then shout out to her. And then my friend ever since middle school, she is Hispanic, Annalise, and I just feel like I learned so much from their families, and I never would have known so many different things about different women's backgrounds had I not gone around them and learned. Of course, you can learn things from reading, but it's, totally different to interact and respect and listen. And I think that's the other big part of it is to be unified. You have to listen and not just like wait to speak and jump in and So really take in what other people say. And I think that is literally the reason why we are not, or what is keeping us from being unified, is not listening enough, not having empathy. I can't remember everybody's names, but I think it was the second lady that spoke. She mentioned about like when people are competing with each other. So if you're not listening and you're just always waiting your turn to speak. Thank you, Melissa. I know I don't have the name. But yeah, if you're like just kind of like in competition mode, or if you're not respecting other people, then you just are never going to fully grasp what they might be going through if you're always just worrying about yourself. So I think that's like a huge part of it.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you very much for your input. All righty, Kashem. Uh-oh. Mrs. M3, where'd you go? Uh-oh, where'd she go? Okay. She's not there. Okay, so we'll come back to Mrs. M3. Danielle? Are you there?
Yes, I am there.
There you go. Okay, Danielle.
Okay.
So we have Mrs. M3 and Danielle. Okay, so we gonna go back to Mrs. M3 and then we will go to you, Danielle. So hold on a second. We'll be right there. All righty, Mrs. M3, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing all right, y'all. How's everybody?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
You're good.
Yes.
So our question is, what does it take to be unified?
So what does it
Women
mean to be
empowerment?
united, and what keeps women from being unified?
What it takes to be unified? I totally, wholeheartedly agree with what's been said already. Listening to each other very much so. Patience. It takes patience. And a level of confidence. Like, you can fight tooth and nail for somebody, like, no, this is how it is. And if they don't believe in themselves, it's not, you can do all you can, but it requires helping them to see for themselves their worth. I can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you, Mrs. M3. Appreciate your input. All righty. And Danielle, you are the last but not least. How are you doing?
I am wonderful. How are you?
We are doing lovely, lovely. And what is your response to the question of what does it mean to be united, and what keeps women from being unified?
I think being united is empathy for a person and how they feel, having understanding of their background and how they view things, and judgmental. We have to be open and willing to listen. Everything that everybody has said.
Yeah.
And I think most important, I appreciate her saying the confidence and stuff, because that was something I didn't think of. And patience, need that. But we also need to be willing to be corrected. Because if you are wrong, you should want to be corrected. Like, no one wants to go around being wrong. And so if we are willing to listen and correct it, I think that would be good. And what stops us is, like what everybody said, jealousy, insecurity, comparing ourselves, wanting what another person have, and just believing what is said instead of making your own path.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Thank you for your input. Thank you very much. I don't really think there's a lot more I can add as far as what it means to be unified, because all the lovely ladies on here have said some amazing things, and I definitely agree with all the points that you guys made. I do think, when it comes to being unified, along with what everybody said, I feel like you have to be somebody who's very understanding and willing to, like Jessica said, willing to listen and know that not everybody shares your story. Everybody has a different story. and be willing to really get to know someone, and like Danielle said, being able to be okay with being corrected when you're wrong, because I think that's the thing, is a lot of times when somebody's trying to tell you that what you did is not okay, some people almost always get on the defense, rather than, and I think it's a matter of thinking about knowing what the intent of the person is, and knowing that what they're saying, because they truly care, is coming from a place of love, not to hurt you. So you have to be willing to be, to be okay with that, and know that this person, they're saying something not because they're against you or they're trying to, put you in a compromising position. They're really saying what they're saying to help you. So I feel like, we have to be more open to that, and not always feel like somebody's out to get us. They're trying to get what we have, because that's not always the case. So, yeah. But nice job, ladies. Nice job. I think that's going to lead us to our second question of the topic. So our second question is, do we think the idea of scarcity, meaning fear of missing out, makes women catty, competitive, or insecure? Why or why not? So fear of missing out, missing the attention, missing different things. So what do you guys think? And so I'll just let anybody who wants to speak on that, go ahead and speak on that, and then we'll, go in whatever order everybody goes. So, but Dama, you have your hand up. What do you think?
I would say yes. This is why I stray away from having a lot of female friends. It comes down to if one person doesn't like something and you also don't like something, you will lie if the person you think will be the better friend or give you the most props or the most, I don't know what they call it now, clout, and that's the person you're going to agree with, or that's the person, that you're going to just go with. It's also as like psychology. If there's 10 people in the room, the first 7 people said the color was green and it's pink. The next 3 people are going to say that the color was green, because everyone is nervous of being that one person that's left out. The woman, we do it the most. We do it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to stand out as the one that's different or having a different opinion. So you rather just agree with other people. Yeah, I've seen that. I've definitely seen that. So, I mean, I tend to sometimes be the one that does not go with the majority about certain things. If I feel a certain kind of way, I'm not just going to go along with what everybody says. So,
right.
I mean, it's not always good to be part of the crowd.
Exactly. That's why I like you.
Yes. Anybody else got any feedback about that? Anybody else?
I do. Hold on.
Okay, Melissa says she does. Luann, you over there laughing. What you got to say?
Nothing yet. My mind is brewing. You know how I have to be. My mind has to think about it first.
I got you. All righty, Melissa.
I just feel like it's also like a competition type of thing. Like, I just feel like if you're confident in yourself, it doesn't matter what somebody else has. Like, so, and
right.
I know it's all human. Like, we all compare ourselves to other people sometimes, especially when we're going through it. But I've just come to like with the philosophy that it's like what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. Because I've seen other situations where people on paper look like they have it all. And I've seen like behind closed doors, like it's really not like that. So it's like, what was the point of, comparing yourself to this person when you can do that and be like, oh, they look like they have like the glamorous life, but then you look at the situation like at hand behind closed doors and you're like, do they really? Like, do they really? And then you're like, I'm better off being just me than trying to be them.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm like, I really never felt like in competition with somebody else besides myself, because to be honest, like I myself like am my own worst critic. So I don't need anybody else being that for me. So it's like I'm like, okay, well, the only thing that I can be is myself. And if whoever likes that, whoever doesn't, that's on them. Like, I can't do anything about that. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm a very nice person. I'm the sweetest person you'll ever meet. But it's just like there comes a point, like especially as you get older, where you start like realizing things like for face value, and then you're like, I don't know about a situation anymore. And sometimes people grow, and it's just like I've always been the type of person, like I've been individual. So yeah, everybody might want to do one thing, but that doesn't mean that I don't have, like I have to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm respecting you because you're being a different way, then I feel like I should be given that same respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And again, we're all human. There's times where we go about things the wrong way, but
Mm-hmm.
it's about holding yourself accountable. And that, like I said before, just being like, okay, I messed up. Let me say sorry. Let me fix my behavior.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't do that.
Right. Right. No, I can agree with that.
So it's just like scarcity, whatever, but it's just like not everybody wants the same thing out of life. So it's just like, what is the point of doing it that way?
Yeah.
Like everybody has their own journey. That's how I feel like. And it's just like, of course you're always gonna see other people that have it easier than you, or you think that they do, but there's like other factors that come into play. Like I have like friends, family members that seem or have like a better, I guess, like lifestyle, but then it's just like I can't worry about that part. Like I just need to worry about myself because I want to be myself. I want to have my own life for myself and how I see it fit, not by anybody else's standards, but my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like that's also like a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's interesting because, and then shout out to Quentin Harris. He's tuned in and made some comments. Thank you, Quentin. And he says he's loving the segment, getting the point of view from the opposite sex. And then Gator Girl, she commented and said that scarcity mindsets are so detrimental. And I absolutely agree with that. You know, I feel like in order for scarcity to not be a problem, you have to reach a level of maturity. And age really is nothing but a number, because I feel that, you know, it doesn't really matter what age you are. Some people, because I'm 40s, there's some people that are in their 40s, even though they still haven't even reached that level of maturity yet. So, and I do think the things that they've gone through really drive that mentality of the scarcity, of fear of missing out. So, you know, when you go through certain things, you're raised a certain kind of way, you know, your mentality kind of makes you feel like you have to do certain things in order to not have that scarcity mindset. So yeah, it's very interesting when you get to learn about this. So, but and let's see, Queen, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I do think that when people feel like they're limited in their options, it's a very dangerous place to be, because you can almost go into desperate mode, and you never want to feel like you have no options. Like because there's always an option. It may not be the one you want, or you know, a road less traveled. It may be a little more difficult. It may require some patience or some grunt work on your part, but you know, you never want to be in a space when you feel like you have limited options, because then you become a different person. I know I do. So I never I never try to get myself in that position, but I think it is women, it does make us become more competitive, more backbiting, more sneaky, more one-upping. And you know, I watch a lot of Lifetime, so
Lifetime will get you.
my husband says he's gonna take it off the network, but you know, there's always a way to watch it.
Right.
But
Netflix.
the things that happen on those shows, I'm like, wow, that's so true. That's crazy. You know, but it's so true. It's people become desperate, and then sometimes, you know, like Damo says, that's why a lot of women don't have a lot of female friends, is because the ones sometimes closest to you can be the dirtiest ones, or can hurt you, or you know, or they're close to you to find out what you got, or you know, you never want to. I always say you never want to show up to another woman's house and see everything that's in your house in her house, because that shows you that's someone that you got to watch.
Yeah, yeah. Nice. Thank you for your input, Queen. Appreciate that. We're gonna shout out Mr. Hall of Fame. He's watching on the big TV. He's watching the lovely, lovely stream. So we shouting him out. We shouting him out, Mr. Hall of Fame. All righty. Kashim. Ooh, this is M3. This is M3. This is M3.
Hey, what's that?
All right.
What's
So
that?
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this?
I believe that anybody with a scarcity mindset, we're human, and of course, the human, not just nature, but we're animals, right? So think about the animal kingdom. You think, you know, cage an animal, and they're going to come out, either they're going to fight or they're going to die, right? So with scarcity mindset, if we think we have to fight for everything we have, we're not living, right? We're not alive, we're surviving. And when we feel like we're pinned, then that's going to be the response that we give off, you see? And so I believe cattiness, but among women, does come from that scarcity mindset. And from scarcity comes the mind of competition, right? There's a scripture, I believe the Bible, I believe in science, and I believe in God. But there's a scripture that says, every star, basically, but I'm probably paraphrasing, every star has its shine, meaning, and, you know, and of course, you know, Solomon says, the rose among thorns. Your husband thinks of you the epitome, right? You're the woman he chose, so you're the woman of women. You're the rose in the garden. You might think of yourself, I'm the rose in the garden. But everybody, roses, carnations, what other kind of flowers there are, morning glories, everyone has their worth. Everyone has their value. It's when we mistreat others by what we see of ourselves. And anyone that values their self, there's no reason to put down another person. Everyone, as I tell my students, my high school students, everyone's a teacup. No one's a solo cup. No one's a red solo cup that gets tossed in the trash. Everyone has worth. Everyone has value. You may not be the funniest person in the room. You may not be the smartest person in the room. And if you're perfect at everything, you're never learning. You know, that's what I tell them. It's true. If you do everything perfectly, then you know how to do it. And if you know how to do everything, then you're not learning. Everyone's a lifelong learner if they allow themselves to be. There are people out there who choose to be ignorant. No matter what you try to do for them or help them see, they're not going to change their point of view. If they feel like they're in scarcity and you show them, hey, here's how to earn, you know, $100 a week, they're like, well, I can't do that. You go on about your business to do what you do. Okay, there it is. I can't make you, you know, if you lead a person to water, can't make them drink it, right? That's a person that's in scarcity mindset, same thing. How we believe within ourselves is our limitation. That's all there is. If we can get people to see outside of a narrow scope or outside of what they're, and that's, I think, what this channel does, honestly, helps to broaden our horizons and our way of thinking. And we can get people to see beyond their everyday, the things that they feel woe is me about. It's going to change their life. And teachers do that every day. And we don't know, like, the impact we have on some students because they're able to see something different that they knew before, you know?
Nice. Thank you, Mrs. M3. And I really liked, and Jessica also said, like, that teacup reference. I really liked that. I really liked what you said. I really liked that comparison. I like that. So thank you very much for your input. That was nice. Thank you very much. Awesome. Okay, so Kris, the Bloomin' Ebony, what are your thoughts?
I completely agree with Mrs. M3. I think that, scarcity is everywhere. It's everywhere, and it triggers insecurity in many of us. And it's going to look differently for a lot of us. For a lot of women who want to be mothers, they're thinking about their window where they can have children and, weighing those options, and that's going to make them insecure. And, women who have to make a certain amount of money to buy a home, like they're thinking about all these limitations that exist. The problem is, though, is that you have to know that your opportunities, your resources don't come from somebody else. Like you have your own abundance that's like for you, and there's infinite abundance. You don't have to compete with somebody else to take what's theirs. You don't need an evil eye. You don't need to be jealous of what they have and think that you have to kind of steer their opportunities and their resources in your direction. You have to believe that, if you're doing what it takes to get what you need, to get where you need to go, you work towards it, and then you will have your own abundance. It will show itself. And yeah, that's
right.
it.
No, I definitely, definitely think, working hard, it's interesting, even with the working hard part, that even something as simple as working hard is something that some people still haven't even quite gotten how to do that. So, but I do like your input. Thank you so much. Mr. Hall of Fame, he says that solo cups are the bomb. You know what? When I have my own game night and things like that, I do go to the store and get them solo cups because I ain't trying to do no dishes. So I'll get me a bag of them. And I seen at Target that they got blue solo cups. So I was like, okay, I might get some blue solo cups next time. But yeah, they are the bomb.
The truth is, there's no red solo cup. The truth is, we all have worth. We all have value.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Absolutely, yes. And it's interesting because I think, and even for myself, it took me a while to even know my worth and know that, I deserve certain things. And I feel that even knowing your worth, you have to reach a certain level of maturity to even see that. Exactly. And some people, it takes a while. And when you go through different things, that even impacts your ability to see your worth. So, but everybody definitely has value. I can definitely agree with
I completely agree.
Yeah. All righty, Danielle, did you have any thoughts?
No, I think everybody hit the nail on the head.
He's like, no.
I mean, you ladies are great, and you guys are saying everything. I'm a firm believer in what's for me is for me, and I don't have to compete. You can't take what's mine. No.
Right. And I can definitely agree with that. And it's interesting because I think a lot of people think that way, that if it's for you, nobody can take it from you. But because of the competition and the I want this and I want what they have mentality, it really keeps you from seeing that if it doesn't happen, it wasn't meant to happen. If it's not for you, then it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to get it. So, but yeah, so it does take.
I know.
Really, yeah. Okay. So Damo and then Melissa.
So, I have known my self-worth from young. So, even without being mature, because my grandmother always told me, there's always going to be someone prettier than you. There's always going to be someone with more money than you. There's always going to be someone who can beat you. Everybody. There's always going to be there's always going to be someone that doesn't like you and people that love you. You can be homeless and there'll be people that love you, and you can be rich and there'll be people that hate you. So get over it,
Nice. Yeah. See,
Are you sure your grandma wasn't my mother?
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say, Ms. M3?
Wait, what?
What did you say, Mrs. M3?
She sounds just alike. She just sounds like my mom. My mom told me the same thing.
Yep.
Nice. I have something to say about what you just said, Damo. But I'm gonna go ahead and let Melissa go ahead and speak. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to piggyback on what she said, but a lot of times parents don't say that to their kids, and then they think that the whole entire world or universe revolves around them, and then when they realize that it doesn't, that's when a lot of issues arise. And it's I also was raised that way. My mom and my grandmother instilled that into me as well. So it's just that's the reason why I don't compete with anybody. I just I'm trying to do my own path in this world, and that should just be good enough.
Yeah.
And I also when it comes to that type of subject, I just feel you people like try to compare yourself like to other people, but like you can be around somebody that's rich, and you're not that as on paper well off as they are, but they can see something in you that they don't have, and they can be envious when it comes to that because they see a certain light or energy that you have that they don't have. So it's just like you can't always just think that people are better than you, because it's not. They're not.
Right.
Everybody has their inner struggles that they're dealing with.
Right.
So I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
And also I was piggyback like what Dominique was saying as well.
Yeah, I want to thank you for that, Melissa. Thank you very much for that. I want to shout out Al Burks, who is commenting and watching. Thank you for tuning in. He says, "Good evening, ladies. Representing ladies night very well. Keep up the good work, y'all." Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's interesting because of what you said, Damo. So my mother wasn't really like that, as far as like telling me there's always going to be somebody better than you. There's always going to be somebody. My mother never really had those kind of conversations with me. Shout out to CJ Kyles. He's tuning in. Thank you. He says, "What's up, ladies?" But yeah, my mother never really had those conversations with me. So, and it bothers me because I feel like because I didn't get the advantage of having that, it was detrimental to me as I got older, and just the way that I saw myself and even how I interacted with people. I know that I'm different now because I know my worth, and I have this mentality that I don't really care about who does or doesn't like me. And I had to have a conversation with somebody who she just couldn't understand that when I go to her house that I'm not just talkative and being my normal natural self with these people that I've just met. And I was trying to explain it to her, and she's like, "You're a really great person. You're so kind, and I just want them to like you the way that I do." And I said, to be honest, I said, I don't care if they like me or not. I said, if you don't know me and you already form an opinion about me before you know me, then you're not somebody I want to get to know anyway. And I know that, and I told her, I said, there's going to be people that know me that may not like me. There's going to be people that get to know me and be friends with me for a while, and then they don't like me after who knows whatever happened. There's going to be people like me, people that don't, and I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. If you don't like me, you don't have to. I don't expect to be liked by everybody. I expect that there's going to be some people that I'm not your cup of tea, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So I even had to have a conversation with my daughter about the fact that, there's going to be some people that don't like you. There's going to be some people that don't want to play with you. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It's okay if there's somebody that doesn't. It's fine. There's always going to be somebody that does. So, so it's very interesting when, when you grow up and you don't have certain type of conversations with your mother or even your father, because even that can be so detrimental to how you see yourself as you're growing up. So I think it's really important for parents to, help you see your worth and help you with things like that. And so, so anyway, that's my little spiel. But
I want to say
spiel. What? Don't do that.
Yeah. So, okay. So Jessica, you wanted to say something. Please feel free.
Yeah, I definitely, it resonates with what you just said, because my mom didn't really say that to me either. She always had like a don't only compete with yourself, but she still didn't tell me like what Melissa and Dom said that their people that raised them did, like that, you don't have to compete with anyone else. It was almost like encouraging. I don't know. It was just an odd, like competitive vibe. And like you said, I've grown from that, but it was like, had to be learned the hard way as an adult. But I was going to say after that, that some people, like with the scarcity mindset, they live beyond their means. So you comparing yourself to them is detrimental anyway, because they might act like they're self-made. And I think they're really in the age of social media that is so detrimental. My grandmother, she always worked very hard and really overcompensated, and she felt less than everyone else because she grew up really poor during the Great Depression, and like her father died, so she had to quit school, and she like felt, less than, because she didn't learn how to read and different things like that. To help her family. So I think also, you know, people, you never know where people are coming from. And when you're trying to compete with them and don't know their backstory, it's just totally. And then to piggyback off of what Melissa said earlier too, with that manifestation that a lot of people have brought up, I had a very close friend in 2019, Cherish, and she kept telling me that. And I recently had bought a bracelet that said that, with that manifestation quote, about like what is for you will not pass you. And until you learn that, like, everything starts to flow after that. And you have to embody that mindset. Otherwise, you're just going to keep like struggling with that jealousy and competitiveness, or so. And it's just worthless because it's just not going to work out for you anyway.
Yep.
I can your energy at all times.
I wanted to say, you know, my mother, I have 3 older sisters, so what she embedded in them, she embedded in me, and they also beat it into me as well, is that I'm my biggest competition, and I should never dull down my light to make anybody feel secure around me. Because, you know, you have friends that, you know, you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about that, or I don't, because they don't have that, or they're not doing this, or, you know, and it was like, no, why would you, you're not boasting and bragging, but why would you stop your shine because somebody is not shining next to you? You can help them shine just as bright as you are. So, yeah.
That's right. That's my saying on Facebook.
But that is it all stems from insecurity at the end of the day, because you can have that at any age. Because trust me, I've seen it. It could be like when you're in grade school, elementary school, like college, and even like you could be like in your 50s, 60s, even in a home, and you can still have that type of mentality. So there's always going to be mean girls. Always. Doesn't matter. But just as long as you know, like, your worth, and you know it's not me, it's them, and you're like, oh, and trust me, for women, especially young women, it takes a lot of effort to like get that confidence within yourself to make it seem like it's okay. Like, I don't need to be doing this anymore. Like, I'm fine just the way that I am. And a lot of times when like you're not easily controlled, or you have your own identity, or you have like your own path, and you know that it's your own path, like a lot of times people can be intimidated by that, especially other women, if they're, you know, in a setting where they can't do that. So it's just like, again, I've had to learn the hard way as well, not to let, just because of other people, my light be like dimmed because of them. So it's a process. It's not easy. You have to work at it every single day.
Yes, absolutely. It is a process for sure.
But no, Lindsay Lohan live here, okay? Mean Girls was a movie. Let that go. I'm just messing with you.
No, wait, but it's true though. Like, you can
know,
at any age in your life.
I don't pay attention to the Lindsay Lohan. You could be a mean girl all you want.
It's true. It's true, because there's a lot of people that try to get a rise out of you, and then when they don't get that, like, when they don't get that pleasure because you didn't feed into it, then, you know, they're ass out of luck. There's nothing that they can do. They didn't get the reaction that they wanted from you.
Yep,
it happened.
So I want to shout out E Black, who's tuning in, and he commented, "Thank you, E Black." And also Mario Marion, he's tuning in. Thank you for your comments, tuning into the very first ladies stream, the first of many, 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 many. Thank you. Okay, Luann, did you want to go ahead and give your comments before we get into our number 3 question?
No, ma'am. Go ahead.
No, ma'am. Okay. All righty. So
I'm perfecting this poem for you ladies. That's why y'all don't really see me.
We appreciate that for sure. So we're going to go ahead and get into our 3rd question. I really like everything that everybody's saying. So you ladies are doing awesome. I think we're doing an amazing job. All righty. So 3rd question is, do women of color have a bad rap in regards to working with each other? Why or why not? Who wants to be the first one to comment?
Can I go
first? Yes, we do.
Okay, so, Luann, you said you wanted to be the first?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we'll let you go first, and then Melissa, you want to go after Luann, correct?
Sure.
I love Luann. She said, yes, absolutely. All righty, Luann. Go ahead, Luann.
Yes, it is. Sometimes it is, especially if you say if you're the boss, you're there, if you are managing them and everything like that. And if they're younger or if they're older, I think it's both ways. It can be a serious issue. It can be a serious issue about trying to give you respect, trying to get your respect from this employee, and they feel like, well, they feel like you're equal just because you guys are both Black. That's what I'm coming across. Y'all know I own a care home, but it feels like we're equal because we're both Black and we're both women. And so when you have to then let them know, no, honey, it's not like that, it becomes an issue. I had to deal with that today.
He said today.
Today. Okay,
not today.
Wait,
today.
Okay?
No, there is a difference than today and today.
Today, okay? And I had to come to the realization of what am I, and sometimes you have to step back, especially if you are a manager and you are in a higher position that your employer and your employee is. You have to, kind of take a step back and figure out what you are doing. Why is this person not giving you that respect? Why do they feel that you guys are both equals? But just listening to them is unbelievable, ladies. Okay, unbelievable. I can't even put my face to the camera of how unbelievable certain times. Girl, in 3. Okay. All right, Tammy, you know how I can get. Okay, and I had to, and you have to literally, as a manager or as a business owner, you literally have to really think about it twice, because it's not just, oh well, I can just walk away. No, you have to put write-ups and all kind. Ladies, I can't even get down to explain to you of how it feels. I feel like sometimes working with our kind is absolutely atrocious. Sometimes. Yes, it's even worse than working with other kinds.
I love your emphasis on certain words. I love the emphasis you put on certain words.
I'm trying to really be nice about it, because I really want to say some stuff, but I know I can't.
It's helpful. So. Your emphasis is so helpful for us to know how serious you are about what you say.
Today was the day. Okay, today was the day that I had to realize that I am above you, young lady. Okay, you can pack up your stuff and you can hit the road, Jack, and never come back no more. That's all I got to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Melissa. Before you give your feedback, I just want to shout out CKQ. He is tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to the very first of many ladies' night stream. All righty, Melissa, it is your turn.
Wait, I was trying to be very intellectual with my response, but she just made me laugh so bad right now.
Sorry, y'all.
I was like, okay, I know what I'm going to say, but then I'm like, wait a minute. It just went completely over my head. Okay, no, wait. Okay, let me try to gather myself again. No, you were really good. That was the best response I've heard all night. Anyways, but I just feel like, and I've said this in other podcasts, I just feel like it has to do with colonization. I know people might be like, you're crazy or whatever, but they've taught, especially minority groups, to decimate within their own communities when it comes to women or just the relationships in general. So I just feel like that's the issue all of the time. And then it's just they want us to tear each other down within our own community, so then they don't have to. And it happens in any group. I know white women have insecurity, everybody has insecurities, but I just feel especially in media, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jessica, because I know you're the only I'm very multicultural myself, but it's just, I just feel a lot of times we're pit against each other. Like a lot of times in media, like women like that are white or whatever you want to say, it's just like they don't have to, worry about it. They can always just be themselves or whatever. But it's just like when it comes to other women, and I'm not talking about like just Black women, like Hispanic women also have to deal with this, and Asian women, that there can only be one it girl at a time for that group. A lot of times in media, like when it comes to like singing, acting, theater, it just happens. So then that's also creates a lot of competition within your own community or your own sector of whatever you identify with. So I just it's very disheartening because like I would want it to be a different situation, but a lot of times like, society hasn't caught up, and also the industry, especially like entertainment industry that we're all in or getting into, hasn't caught up when it comes to that either. So I feel like that's where it all stems from, and I got my intellectual thought across besides me laughing my ass off right now. So I just hope that it like people understood it, because it kind of like derailed me. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right, Danielle. Thank you for that, Melissa. Thank you very much. Danielle, did you want to add anything?
I did. I feel like I don't really have a problem working with any women. If I see that you have a bad energy, I try to change the energy. As a nurse, I was a CNA for about 10 years. I became a nurse. To transfer from a CNA to a nurse was difficult because I had to learn that leadership position. I had to learn what makes a person want to follow you.
Is that CNA, Danielle?
Yes.
Okay.
I had to learn what it takes for a person to want to follow you, what it takes for you to be able to bring people into your energy instead of absorbing their energy. I don't know if y'all can see my picture. I got on makeup on there, but typically I don't wear makeup, and so when people see me, they think I'm like a little kid, and I'm almost 40. So besides being a Black woman, I have women who are older than me or who are younger than me but look older than me or whatever, but are judging me based on my appearance. And I had to learn how to combat all of that from all walks of life, white, Hispanic, Black. And what I found is if you find the energy that is negative and you try to fight that energy, then you're going to get pushback because they're already ready to fight you. I find that if I need you to do something, I'm not going to be like, go do that. I'm going to be like, hey, how you doing? Could you go over there with this? If I see you a difficult worker, I'm not even going to say, can you go over there? I'm like, come on and help me do this. I can't see myself as above you. My position is above you. I am not above you. We're all adults. So we are all equal. And to see myself above a person also makes people not want to follow you because people can feel that energy. And so I just try to lead with kindness and respect. And people, I work for agency, so I don't even have like a home at a place that I work. But everywhere that I go, if I frequent that place, the seniors come from everywhere. The other seniors come, what's that you working on? I want to work with you. You nice, you helpful. When I hear about people doing stuff, I'm always willing to open up and share. Oh, you want to start a business? This is how you do it. Oh, you need an EIN? That's how you do it. Oh, you want to go to school? You can go to school for free right now. So I just try to be open and pour into people, and I receive that energy back. So I don't feel like it's hard to work with anyone because that's not the energy that I get.
Okay, nice. I like your perspective. Nice. Who said, can I go?
Queen.
Oh, go ahead, Queen, and then Damo, and then I'm gonna come to Jessica and then Kris. So yeah. So okay. So go ahead, Queen.
Can you repeat the question?
So do women of color have a bad rap when it comes to working together? Why or why not?
Yes. And I think why is because of how we were brought to this country. We were pit against each other, light skin, dark skin, good hair, bad hair, you know. I have very silky, very curly hair. I grew up in the East Coast. Most people, Spanish people I grew around, Dominicans, they think I'm Dominican or Puerto Rican. I'm Black and Native American. So I got growing up, oh, you think you cute because your hair, because you got good hair. I was like, what's good hair? It hurts when my mother combs it. Ain't nothing good about it, you know? So I think we do have a bad rap because that's how we were taught. You know, we're taught to compete. We're taught, oh, darker skin is ugly. Darker skin is this, or vice versa. And I remember I had a training in one of my positions, and I was with every race. It was a pretty mixed group, and one of the ladies, she was Japanese, and she got hired to speak Japanese and write Japanese, but she couldn't do that. So the other Japanese women that gave her the heads up about the job, they would get together with her every day and show her, and pretty much show her what she was going to be tested on. And I found, and then, the other Black girl who I was working with, there was a position, and it became very backbiting. Oh, let me get to know you and try to one up you. And, I ended up getting it because that's just not who I am. But, from my various jobs in the social service field, I've come across, Latino women staying with the Latino women, the Mexican women staying with the Mexican women, and them doing whatever they need to do to get their friends in, or when there's a job opportunity. But when it comes to the African American women, that's not what we did. It's almost like they became each other's competitions for the raise or for the other position. And I mean, I steered away from it, but we do have a bad rap, with just trying to hook you. Oh, I can't hook you up. You need to go and do it this way. But the Japanese girl, she brought 5 of her cousins in the position because she helped them, versus us, it's like, nah, man, we can only be the only Black person in that, field or in that organization. So we do become backbiting, and, and I think it's something that we were taught from even how we got here, So yeah, that's my perspective.
Thank you very much. Okay, so before you comment, Dama, I want to shout out ATL, who is tuning in and has commented. Thank you so much for watching first of many ladies' nights, women's stream with the beautiful, beautiful ladies. And also Japrice tuned in. Thank you so much for tuning into our lovely, lovely, lovely stream. All righty, thank you very much. Damo, let's get your feedback.
Okay, so I have 2 different feelings. Like, I'm from the East Coast, and I've been here 3 years, and so I have 2 different feelings on it. I don't like that Black women get a bad rep when it comes to working with each other, because, I mean, honestly, one, I know women of different cultures that have tried to work with each other, like coming from me being in fashion school and stuff, and them try to do things together, and they will literally like chew each other out or go behind each other's backs. The difference with us is we're in your face. We're going to tell you to your face, like, I don't want you to have the position because I'm trying to, be better than you, which sucks. But with other cultures, they do it behind your back. I'd rather you do it to my face. So it's not only Black women. So I don't like women like that. And I think the reason also too is why we get that bad rap is just society. Society automatically, you know, is going to say, oh, we don't want to put the two Black women together because maybe they're going to start arguing, or maybe they're going to start doing this, or maybe they're going to start doing that. So, you know, it comes from things like that. And I think that being here is where I've seen it the most. When I'm at work, and I've worked being a supervisor at Kohl's for the beauty department, and there's Black girls there, you know, and it's like they don't want to hang out with the other Black girl. You know, they want to hang out with all the other races, but they don't want to hang out with the other Black girl. It's like, I don't want to seem too Black, you know, I don't want to seem too this, you know, I want the other races to like me, or, you know, I want to appeal to them. You don't get that in New York, but, you know, I want to appeal to them and things like that. And I see that a lot here since I've moved to Sacramento. Sorry to anyone who's from Sacramento, but that's what I get working here. Like all the Black people, you just want to, you walk in the street, and I'm working the farmer's market, and I'm like, hey, another Black vendor. Hey, boo, like, let me buy something. She's like, oh, you know, and it's like, well, I shop all day. You just missed out on a shopaholic. Like, you know, give back to the Black people. And you're like, but waiting for the next race, you know, to come up, and you're like, hey, hi, how are you? And it's like, girl, I would have gave you, you know, I go in and I'm like, where's the Black waitress? You know, you're treating me a type of way because one, I'm young, two, I'm Black, and you think, what, I'm not gonna tip you well enough, or you know, work with me because you don't think I'm gonna pull in as many tips because because I'm Black. So you want to appeal to somebody else, like the people who come here from other countries. You want to appeal to, you know, the master race when, you know, they also don't like you. They don't like us. Sit down and you, Jessica, if you sit down and you look at it, I don't want to sound like, you know, I mean, that's how it sounds. But yeah, so I think it's just that a lot of Black women, you want to appeal to the other race. So when working together, you're like, let me step back, but then you also get a lot of Black women who can work well together. I think the city that you're in, or the atmosphere that you're in, or the type of work that you're doing, that changes whether you're going to see Black women working together or you're going to see them going against each other.
Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. All right, Jessica.
So I definitely want to stay in my lane. And this question is very specific, is about, do women of color have a bad rap when it comes to working together? So I can, of course, only speak as an observer. So not at all, like, I don't know at all the Black woman's experience. And I appreciate Melissa and Dom saying, like, you know, I don't want to say anything like white women are master race. I'm totally fine with that. In fact, like, I teach at HBCU. I'm very comfortable with, like, speaking the truth. And I know white women are usually the shittiest people. So it's okay. But anyway, so I actually had a unique experience, I guess. Maybe I've been at education since 2011. And at first I taught at community colleges, so I didn't have as much interaction with my coworkers. But teaching K through 8 was very different. And ironically, you know, all the stereotypes everyone always says about, like, the angry Black woman and people, you know, they're aggressive and all this nonsense. All the Black women I've ever worked with became like my mentors. They were like, so they were assertive, and it was very refreshing, actually, because, like someone mentioned, a lot of times white people or other races might talk about you and do all the same stuff behind your back versus saying, like, you know, this is what you can work on, or this is like something, you know, that it doesn't work well with me. But they were like my best friends. But also what I did observe, they did seem, at least in my perspective, in Alabama and Tennessee, which is limited, they were not seemingly like rude to each other. And I worked at schools, charter schools, and they were very big on, like, their culture, either their sororities or HBCUs or whatever it may be. So they were very much like a team, and they didn't seem to go pitted against each other, or like, I think Dom mentioned, like, trying to go be with the other races to not seem as Black, which I hate to hear that experience, but I know I don't have to worry about any of that. So that is all part of privilege. Anyway, so that's just my take as an observer, and I cannot speak to, you know, how Black women have to, or women of color have to work together and what it can be like. But I'll be quiet.
Well, Jessica, we definitely appreciate your perspective. Even though you're not a woman of color, it's nice to get to hear what you just said. So it's nice because you can see things maybe that we can't see as far as what you've observed as somebody, as a white woman. you know, of course, you can't speak from the perspective of, you know, women of color, but you can speak from your own perspective and what you've seen. So we definitely appreciate that. So thank you for that. So
yeah, and that was to
You are
assume that you
welcome to
don't
the
have a
barbecue.
culture just because you're, you know, not a woman of color per se. Because even within, you know, Anglo-Saxon communities coming to America, they weren't all speaking the same language, even though they were same skin tone. So, you know, if
Especially
you have
like
anything to speak on
Irish
that
Italian.
regard, you know,
yeah.
I know even some presidents had it hard trying to get elected because they were specific religion and culture, like
Mhm.
JFK, for example, being
Catholic.
Irish Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Biden's
Thank
Irish.
you.
Irish and Italian.
Thank you, guys. All righty, Kris.
Yeah, so I think we can. I think part of it is because so I heard this quote and it goes, "The mind is a projector, not a camera." You know, and so we don't just see things and like remember those things. We actually project what's in our mind onto other people. And I think when we feel a certain type of way about ourselves, we project that onto others. And I think it just happens to be easier to do that with people who look like you because you see more of yourself in that person. And so I don't think that it's just like we get a bad rap. I think a lot of people steer away from it because you see too much of yourself in that person. And so if you're not whole, you're going to project that onto them and assume that they're not whole either. Think that they have certain limitations, they have certain weaknesses because you actually see that in yourself. And I think that can range, you know, across all races. When you have those certain identifiable characteristics, you know, those similar characteristics, I think it just makes it a lot easier to project your insecurities onto them, and then it makes working together very difficult.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Mrs. M3, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I do, because I really feel like, I mean, most of my best friends are women of color, whether African American, Latina, or Polish, actually, and fair skin. But I have to say, what I feel this way, and it may not be the truth, and I'm okay with that, is that when we have certain idiosyncrasies about ourselves that make us insecure, we tend to shy away from it or go in a direction that doesn't let it show when we're in mixed company. When we're in company with people that are not our same culture or what we perceive to be our same culture. On the job, on the workplace, we're very much shaped to be or molded to be a certain, you know, put your agent forward pretty much, so to speak. Even though you can be that way behind closed doors too, you know, that the professional you is what you bring forward. And when you have insecurities about, and not even just your idiosyncrasies, but when you have insecurities about your culture and you worked for however many years of college, of education, of professionalism to train it out of you or what have you, or to put it aside or what have you. I think the insecurity is what drives the caliber of acquaintances you have in public versus the acquaintances you have among your family, who become your friends, you know, or some people see their friends as family. But some, you know, in public settings, some people never get to a friendship level with their coworkers or their peers. It stays professional and they like it that way, you know? And so maybe, you know, at work, it can be competition that you see with, you know, this opposite, this person that looks like you and has the same culture as you. And you're just like, hi, bye, friends kind of thing, because at work, that's just as far as you want to take it. That's as far as you feel comfortable, no matter what skin tone they are. You can leave it professional, and your home life is your home life. But I think if you have the security within yourself for who you are and your culture, what you see yourself as, you make friends with anybody. You can be friends with anybody, and your boundaries are your boundaries. Even if you are a person, I can make friends very easily. I have best friends since I was, you know, 7 that are still in my life. I'm 44. it's fine. But if you have that boundary set and this is who you are at work, and, you know, professional relationship is professional relationship, then you're not going to cross that line regardless. And it can feel weird to any and everybody who's like, I have friends every place, and, you know, they don't get you. They're like, I don't understand why she's so stoic or so professional all the time. Does she ever laugh? Or things like that can, you know, be said behind that person's back or whatever. But you have your boundaries, you have your way of thinking, and your securities and your insecurities. All those things play a role in being able to relate with someone, especially women of color. Maybe that's how you've learned to guard your heart, guard yourself, guard your life. And it takes one person just in the background, maybe chipping away at that shell. Maybe there's one specific, you know, coworker that ever, now you're like best friends. You still keep in touch even though you don't work there anymore, and you let that one person be, you know, your compadre. That happens.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Mrs. M3. It's interesting. So I'm a teacher, for those who don't know, and so I've worked around different groups of women. You know, in the teaching field, it is typically mostly women, if not all women, that are there. And so even the school I work at now, I'm the only Black teacher at the school that I work. We have campus monitors that are Black, but I'm the only Black teacher. So, and I'm very cordial with everybody, but I'm not going to interact with you as if we're friends, kind of thing. Just because for me personally, I have to get to know you, and it takes a little bit of time. So whenever I start a new position, I'm very quiet. And I mean, I'm cordial. You know, if you say hi to me, I'm not just going to keep walking away. I'll say hi to you. You know, that's how my day's going. I'll say, you know, how my day, and I might say, and I'll probably say, you know, how's your day going? But even at my school, one of the teachers that I'm very, very good friends with, she's not Black, but there's no other Black teachers at the school. So, I mean, any school that I work at, I've never been the kind of person that couldn't get along with anybody who's Black as well, because I worked at a charter school and majority of the teachers were Black, and we all got along just fine. We all got along great. There wasn't a feeling of competition or one upping anybody. It was really like a camaraderie. So I've never personally seen that where Black women couldn't get along and work together. If I did, it was something that was, you know, something maybe I saw on TV, a TV show or something like that, but I've never had any personal experience with that. I just know me, I'm going to treat you the way you treat me. So as long as you're respectful with me, I'm be respectful with you. You know, I'm not going to automatically think that you're better than me just because you may have a higher position. You know, if you have that position, you work for it, you should have it, you know. So yeah, I don't necessarily have a type of competition mindset or, you know, I can't work with this person. I'll work with anybody as long as we can get along fine. You know, you have a job to do, I got a job to do. So as long as we can get our jobs in, then that's all it is. So, we're going to go ahead and get into the number 4 question. Thank you everybody that gave their feedback. It's really nice to hear the different perspectives. I really like the different perspectives. So, okay, so number 4 says, in the fight for unity among women, does acknowledging imperfections among various female movements create more division? So when we acknowledge those imperfections, does that create more of a divide? So I would say that when you acknowledge other people's imperfections, so my perspective is you have to be mindful if the person is ready to receive the information that you're giving them and receive it in the way you intend it. So you have to kind of read people to know if this is somebody where you can acknowledge an imperfection and then they take it as, I'm not coming at you in a negative way. I'm saying something to try to help you and make you aware of something that you may not see. So it's a matter of reading that person, know, can I tell this person about this and them not think that it's something negative that I'm saying something to hurt them, that I'm really saying something that is meant to help them. So, and I think for me, I know the friends that I have in my life, I can tell them, okay, look, like, that wasn't cool. What you did, what you said, no, not going to work. Going to have to change that. But that's the thing, is that I'm able to read them and know that I can talk to them in that way, and they're going to be okay with that. I call it like that constructive criticism. You have to be, because I think like nobody's perfect. So you have to know that you need to have the kind of, yeah, you are, of course you are. But you have to know that, you want to have friends in your circle that are going to keep it real and let you know when you're not doing something right. When you said something that was just out of pocket, you have the friends like, yeah, sis, no, that wasn't cool. Like, you need to fix that. Like, you can't have the friends that are constantly rooting for you, even when you are absolutely in the wrong. Like, you cannot have friends that, even when they know what you did was just foul, no, you did was foul. And they say, girl, I know that's right. Yeah, you should have did that. That's right. Like, no. Like, if I'm in the wrong, if you're my friend and you care, I need you to let me know that. Like, no, Tammy, that wasn't cool. You did that, because that means I can trust you to be honest with me and point out the things that I'm doing wrong, because that's only going to make me do better and improve who I am. So I do think it is about you, reading people and knowing if this is somebody who you could say something to. Because some people, you say something and all of a sudden they're on the defensive, like, well, what do you say that for? I didn't ask for your opinion. And that's the thing, is that you have to be open to that and know that if somebody comes at you, is it from a place of love or is it not? So you have to be able to know that if they're going to see it that way or not. And if they're not, then maybe it's just not the time to say something to them. I mean, you might want to, because you might want to call them out anyway, because you might say, you know what? Yeah, nobody's saying nothing. I might need to be the one. But even then, you still need to be able to read if it is even the time for that. Because if nobody's saying anything and you choose to say something, are they going to even hear what you're saying? Like, I want them to be able to hear it and receive it. And if they're not able to, then I might just take a step back and not even be the one to acknowledge those imperfections for them. So yeah. So but shout out to Reese, who's tuning in. He says, keep it 100, friends, even if you don't agree, but can still talk it out. Absolutely, I agree with that.
Nice.
Yes. Mrs. M3, yes, absolutely. You can go ahead.
First, Lady Tammy. So I was first. I want to from the question previous. I want to say same thing in my at my school, not in my district, but at my school. I'm the only African American woman. We have last year we had a math teacher, but he left this year, who was African American male, and a coach who was African American male. And when I first ever started there back in 2015, we had an African American English teacher, but she was so fair skinned. She could pass for Latina any day of the week. All right, every once in a while we'd have conversations in the coffee room, be like, "Hey, girl," whatever. But she since either retired or left. I don't know. I just remember from my first year. And then there's one other African American woman, but she takes care of cafeteria and the lunch and things like that. So we have representation in different departments, but for teaching, I'm the only African American woman teacher. So yeah, my friends on campus are not African American either. So I just wanted to. You and I have the similar. We're in the similar same water. You're going to be different boat.
Thank you very much. Good. Thank you, Mrs. M3. Appreciate that. All right, Damo. Yes.
So I have something to say to go back on what you said. Definitely be honest with your friends. Like, if my breath stinks, please tell me that my breath stinks. I don't care if you're already out. Like, I will go find gum or something. And let me know these things. Let me know. But when it comes to that, when it comes to women, is you get nervous because is it coming from a place of jealousy? That's another thing. Don't tell me that, my shorts are too short because you feel that women should wear shorts that are of a certain length. Then that's not telling me that I'm doing something wrong. That's not an imperfection, and I think that's the part that we need to remember. Yes, be honest with your friends, but don't be honest from your personal opinion or your personal insecurities or like I don't think, you should wear that to a wedding when 30 other people might wear the same thing, So it's like, I think that when we do, tell our friends these real things and these things, that means something. Also, you have to think of the person's personality, like their personal situation. I have, friends who I'm like, shouldn't be with your baby daddy, you should be kicking him out your house, but at the end of the day, she's doing her own thing. She got her side boo and everything. So really, she's doing good in the situation that she's in. But I may have another friend who is at home crying and sad and miserable about it. And then that friend, I would be like, okay, listen, you need to let him go. So it just depends on the person's situation. And if it's not harming them, you may look at it like, you may have it at 11 o'clock, but maybe they also go to work and do the damn thing every day. So you just got to stop being so personal about it and coming from like what you think is the best thing to do and just what's best for them.
Nice. Thank you, Dom. Appreciate that.
Anybody, can you repeat the question?
Can we repeat the question? Yes. So question number 4 is that because when people are not willing to acknowledge imperfection, when people acknowledge imperfections, does that create more of a divide?
Well, I'm from Jamaica, Queens. Big up New York, woo, woo, NY baby all day. So my motto has always been, don't ask if you don't want to hear. So,
Holla.
I had a friend, some years ago, whatever, asked me about something. I'm not going to go into details because, she may be listening. She asked me about something she was doing, and I said, it's up. And she was really hurt by that. And she's from, my West Coast years of living out here. And I said, this is what I don't like about it. And this is what, I think you could improve. And then she told me later, oh, I didn't appreciate. And I said, you've known me for over 5 years. You already know. Don't ask me if you don't want to hear it. And just like me, I'll ask her. I always tell people, hey, I even tell my supervisors at work, I said, I'm all open to criticism and feedback. I said, I may not look like it in the moment. I may have a fat attitude, but believe me, I'm taking what you're saying and I'm going to walk away and I'm going to handle my business. I said, I may not be able to hold it and respond, but best believe I'm holding what you told me and I'm going to walk away and process it later. Because if you ask me to process it in a moment, I may not say something that'll make me keep my job. So I have to walk away, process, get my little issues out, and then I'll come back and say, okay, this is it. This is what it was, whatever. But I think, I think what Damo said was very important, like making sure it's coming from a place of not your insecurity and your projection, but it's coming from, hey girl, I know you wearing them Daisy Dukes, but they're not looking right on you right now. You know what I mean? Just maybe throw on a little cardigan, you can still keep your Daisy Dukes on, but just throw a little cardigan on, to pop that back, it ain't working right now. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be more willing to, because sometimes when I see females outside, I'm like, they don't have no friends. They let you walk outside like that. How you let you walk outside like that? I couldn't leave the house without getting checked 4 times from my mother and my 3 older sisters. And every time I got checked, it was a wardrobe change. So yeah, so I think that's my 2 cents.
Thank you for those 2 cents. We definitely appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Yes, thank you. Melissa, were you there, Melissa?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so you wanted to go ahead and give your feedback, or did you want us to come back to you?
What was the question again? Because I had to do something real quick.
Okay. So in the fight for unity among women, does acknowledging imperfections among various female movements, does that create more of a divide? So when you acknowledge imperfections, does that create more of a divide?
No, I feel like if anything, if we all are vulnerable with each other, that should just bring us closer. But the thing is that a lot of times people are not open to criticism. So it's just like, it's hard. Like, it's hard to take criticism. It really is. It's not easy. But it's not about what you like, it's not about what you say. It's about how you say it. And a lot of times people have like a really hard time having tact on how to like deal with the situation and trust me, we're all human. I've done it before, like, and it's been done to me, and it's a communication type of error that happens. So I just feel like it could actually work in your favor if you do it the correct way, and you go with us with a sense of care and love. But a lot of times people don't do it that way. It comes off like aggressive because they're angry or they're having like a breakdown or whatever, and then that's what like the message gets like skewed and people don't take it that well.
Yeah, I definitely think that not what you say is how you say it is a very, very big thing. Yeah, so thank you for that, Melissa. Thank you. Anybody else want to add some feedback before we get to question number 5?
I think this question, sure. I think this question is kind of, similar to, woman adjusting each other's crown.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a way to do it that's tactful and, among two people. And then there's a way to do it where it's a jab.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I caught her doing something that other people would also disapprove of, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And when it's done, in a way that's tactful, like, hey, I received that, I understand and I can grow from it, and even if it's something that I like doing, hey, I got you. When you're around me, I'll, change it up so that it, is pleasing to you in that regard, because I value your friendship and your input. I'm still going to be me, but when in your company, it's all good. And then there's another that's not quite helpful. It's not like, woman, let me help you adjust your crown. It's more like, the behind your back, like, I don't care if she changes this or not. I'm gonna just go over here and say, and maybe someone else will bring it to their attention. And that part is like, it's not a friendship way of doing things, I don't think, but it's a way that every woman, we're all guilty of it at some point. It might have been our mom. I don't like the way my cousin did this and that. Your mom, well, did you go talk to your cousin? No, can you just do it for me? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's everyone does it. We're all guilty of it. But there's a certain caliber of, you know what, I want to empower this woman versus I want to tear this woman down. I don't want people to see this person as anything but how I see this person. And if you think of yourself as, we all have value, we all have worth, what's a purpose for tearing anybody down?
Yeah.
Their gifts are theirs, as we've said earlier in the stream, and your gifts are yours. And nobody, you're just like Christmas gifts. God has your blessing set for you, and he has this person's blessing set for them, and y'all are rising to the top. Just like with any college, like, oh, it's a good college, Princeton, blah, blah, blah. If I want to be a lawyer, yeah. But if I want to be a carpenter, do I really need to go to Princeton? Right? Like, my blessings are my blessings, your blessings are your blessings. There's not a competition in that regard.
Yeah.
Like, everything that God gives us, each are care packages, each of us, for the life that we're living. I can't be a unique you. You are the uniquest you that you can be. Everyone has their value.
Thank you.
No reason to tear each other down, empower each other, build each other up, teach each other. If you're interested in doing this, hey, let me show you how to do it. Sit with me in this meeting. Let's do this meeting together. You're not interested? Okay, I'm moving on. This is what I'm interested in. You go your way, I go mine. We're still friends at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mrs. M3. Appreciate that. Okay, so CKQ says, if criticism is supposed to jar the mindset of someone to shift their view, Can you really do it without somehow making them feel bad?
I think it depends on the person. I think it depends on the person and their level of insecurity, because if a lot of times when someone tells us something that's wrong, we kind of already had an inclination or a little bit of a something that we felt already inside. So like for me, if you tell me something that's wrong, there's a slight chance that I might have already thought about it and maybe not cared about it. I might have thought about it.
Somebody got their phone on.
What happens when I talk?
Go ahead, you good.
Yeah, so if I already have thought about it, and if I'm already a type of person that I'm like, I want to better myself, I want to do better, I want to get better, I want to, be a better person, then yeah, it might not make me feel bad. It might make me feel like, you're right, girl, I was thinking the same thing, but I was trying not to, but thank you, okay. Sometimes to me that's
Hold on, pause now. Okay, so whoever's phone that is, please feel free to put your phone on silent.
Or mute yourself.
Or mute yourself, yes, absolutely. So, all right, okay. So Damo, please feel free.
So just to wrap it up, because I'm a little short attention span. So just basically, I think that depending on the person, you can do it, but it's not whether you're gonna make them feel bad or not make them feel bad. It's whether they, themselves already thought about it, already felt it. Maybe they look at you as, this person who's up here, so you saying it in general just is gonna make them feel bad. But I don't think it's really up to you. It's really up to them in the situation.
Yeah,
I think it's all about your delivery. If you ever seen the video of that doctor giving little kids a shot, and what he does is he plays with them, and he, I don't know what he's poking them with, but he's doing this playing thing, and before you know it, he done gave the kid 3 shots, and it's over. So it's not so much as about not being criticized or not being critiquing someone. It's all about your delivery. You can say the same thing 2 different ways. So like I've been checked wrong, harsh, and I've been checked in the most gentlest way, and I'm like, did she just checked me, So I think it's all about your delivery, and it's all about the relationship you have with that person. And a lot of it is not even necessarily that person. It's a lot about what's going on with you, because how you come across is it's a lot of your projection. So if you come across and being harsh and critical and being unloving, there's a lot going on. Sometimes you got to check yourself first and say, am I even in the space to say this right now? So yeah.
Thank you, Queen. Appreciate that. Okay, so I don't think I shouted out Reese before. So thank you, Reese, for tuning in. And then Mr. Hall of Fame. Oh, Reese says that's not necessarily up to the person executing it. Be tactful, yes, but you can't hold back. You can be tactful even if you're not holding back. So yeah, you can be tactful even if you are not holding back. Mr. Hall of Fame says most people nowadays think more of themselves than they should. View yourself with humility and love. I agree with that. But I also think that it takes a level of maturity to even view yourself that way. So it does. I feel like it takes a lot of growth and a lot of maturity and seeing your worth, all of that, in order for you to see yourself that way. So, all righty. And then I think Jessica, I think you wanted to say something, and then Melissa. So go ahead, Jessica.
Yeah, so I was going to agree with what someone else just mentioned about it is about delivery, but then sometimes people just are not going to be ready to receive that, whatever it is, due to their own insecurities or possibly their own privilege. So, for example, like you could take like with the Me Too movement, how white women appropriated that. That was a Black woman from New York that came up with that in 2006. But then they took it and ran with it in 2017 with like white women in Hollywood. And so if they were willing to address like, oh yeah, we appropriated this, let's now give the credit to the Black women that came up with this. Those women that did that were able to learn from those Black women and able to then team up and be a unified team. But the people who couldn't accept it, and they're just never going to be able to receive something like that because they even haven't been confronted in that way. They haven't had to confront things in their life like that. So I feel like it can be about delivery, but it's also about the person receiving the feedback or criticism. If they're not ready to accept it, if they're not ready to learn themselves and just shut up sometimes, they're not going to get it.
Right. Thank you for that, Jessica. Thank you very much. And Melissa.
No, I completely agree with what Jessica said because and I will admit it was a very touchy subject. Like I went through that with one of my best friends and I'm not best friends with her anymore because of what I told her. And I was just very concerned. I heard a lot of things about her and her erratic, crazy behavior. And, I had heard things, but then when it was also a weak moment. Like I was having a weak moment myself. I had a couple of drinks in me, and then a lot of times you have liquid courage, and a lot of things come out when you're not really trying to handle a situation in a certain way. And I went about it in the wrong. There was a lot of the validity of what I had to tell her, but the way that I went about it wasn't the best. And then when I tried to really get to her and talk to her and be like, look, this is why I did what I did because I heard that you were doing this and this and this was going on. And it was just a chain reaction of a lot of things building up that I tried to be very patient and be understanding and, not do what I did. And then all of a sudden, everything that I've been wanting to try to tell her and also other people, it just came out of me. So it made it seem like it was all on me and that I was being the vicious, malicious one when that wasn't the case at all. And also it comes from a place of being enabled. When you've been enabled all your life or you're used to not being told no or that, your behavior is acceptable, it's very hard a lot of times when somebody else tells you no, what you're doing, this is why you keep on having the same reaction with different people in the same type of relationships. So it's just even though I had evolved and I grew up and I wanted more out of life, she was at a position in life that even though she was kind of a little bit older than me, she wasn't there yet. And that's the part that I judged. And everybody has their own journey. And sometimes, people grow apart and that's what happens. And it's just you have to, I get what I had to learn, respect where everybody is at that particular gestation of that time. And just if it's not, for you, respectfully bow out or either deal with it or, again, respectfully bow out. And a lot of times that's where a lot of the issues lie because people don't communicate until the last moment. And that's when things, fester and come out the way that they come out when it could have been prevented a long time ago. So it happens. Everybody's human. It's happened to me, whatever. But it's just I feel also that comes into play when it comes to this.
Yeah, no. Thank you for that, Melissa. Thank you for your feedback. CKQ had said, how can you talk to someone about being obese without hurting their feelings? So here's the thing, and I'll let you talk in a minute. So here's the thing is that, once again, it is not what you say, it's how you say it. So you can say, if you come to them and be like, look,
right,
you fat, you need to lose some weight, you eating all these things, you ain't got no business eating, come on now, you need to get on a diet, that can be taken in a really negative way, rather than you saying, I'm really concerned about your health, some of the stuff you're eating is not healthy for you, and I really want you to get better and start eating better and taking better care of you. It is in what you say and the intent and with with what you say. So, if that's the thing, is that if you are coming from a place of love and you say it where it's more that you're concerned about their health, not about the fact that, you obese, you're overweight. It's more of like, I'm concerned about their health. Because the reality is, if they're overweight, they know they're overweight. So it's like, you don't need to say you're overweight. They know that they're overweight. So it's a matter of coming from a place of concern, of love, and wanting better for them. I feel is what better of an approach than to just say, look, this is what it is. This is what you do. This is what you need to do. Because like I said, it's not what it is not what you say. It's how you say it. So you're not coming from a place of trying to hurt their feelings. And that's the thing, is that even if you come from that place of love, it's a possibility that they still may get their feelings hurt. But if they really look at what you're saying, they're going to see that you're saying it because of the fact that you care, not because you're trying to, talk down to them or make them feel less than who they are, that you're coming from a place of love, and that's what it is. So that's the thing, is it might seem like, to them, they might get upset about what you say, but then as they process it, they will see it in a way that it's not meant to hurt me. You're trying to say what you're saying to encourage me, make me feel better, and things like that. So Reese says, tag team with them, be a part of the healthy journey for encouragement. Yeah, be a part of their journey. Like, you know what? Shoot, I need to go on a diet too. Let's go work out together. So, I mean, even that can be encouraging, because, I mean, I know for me, I got a membership to 24-hour fitness, and I can't tell you the last time I went. Just saying, I can't remember last time I went to the gym. I need to go, but yeah, like if I don't have anybody to go with, I'm less likely to go. That I'm not going to go up there by myself. I'm just not. So, but if I have someone to go with me, it was like, girl, shoot, me and you girl, we can lose some weight together. We can get that summer body together. Let's go. I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's get it. So yeah. So that's my 2 cents. Damo, you are more than welcome to add your feedback.
Yes, I saw that question. I was thinking about it the whole time. So one, I keep having gym memberships and canceling them, and I have a spin bike in my house. So Tammy, if you need to go to the gym, we can go together. We live 8 minutes apart. I'm just letting you know that. The other thing is, I think when it comes to certain things, when I saw that question, it just made me think, like Tammy said, if someone is obese, number one, they already know it. They already know it. If you're at that point, you know when you've hit that point. You either maybe had to go to the emergency room for something, maybe had a cold, a doctor has mentioned it to you, people on the street, someone has joked about it, So some things aren't our business. Someone may be your friend, but sometimes it's not always your business to say something. If that person already knows and that person clearly is choosing not to do anything about it, sometimes it's not for you to say anything. It's for you maybe to just step back as a friend. Maybe that, that person is never going to realize it or get it. So that's another thing. We need to learn that it's not always our place to say something. Also, it comes with a best friend and a friend. If this is your homie from, day one, from childhood, you can be a little more harsh and you can have a different feeling. But if this is just a friend that you've been hanging with the last 2 years, obesity, they already know that. That's not really, you don't really have to have that conversation with them. And if you are going to have the conversation with them, like Tammy said, be a part, help the problem. Don't say you're, obese and then be with them and have a McDonald's cheeseburger. That's not fair. Don't go and do that. Certain things.
I know you big. Let's go to McDonald's. I know you hungry.
You a big
aren't our place. Like if they already know it, you don't need to be saying it again. Just either they're gonna change it, or you just gonna have a new friend, or you're just gonna accept it and hope that they get better. So yeah, that's my answer.
And and thank you, Dom. And that goes back to the whole being that friend that can be honest, like not being that friend that's just gonna say something to make them feel better. Because you have to be that friend that can be honest with them. And like I said, and like we've been saying, it is about not just the intent, but not what you say, but how you say it, kind of thing. So, so thank you everybody for your, is there anybody else that has any feedback they'd like to give before we get to our 5th question, which will be our final question for today?
Kris, we haven't heard from you.
Yes, Kris.
In a while.
Yes, Kris.
I was listening because I read the question as in like more macro scale, like female movements, as in like feminism, Me Too, body positivity, or like fat acceptance, like all of those movements. And so I I really liked how you all interpreted it and all your feedback. So that was just really fun to listen to. But a quote that I really like is, "The greatest threat to freedom is the absence of criticism." I personally, like, criticism is really hard to take. But I know that the minute that people aren't allowed to criticize me or like these grand movements or like the government or anything, then some form of oppression is happening, you know, and that scares me. And also, someone said that delivery matters. I think delivery matters, but it's a bit more, it's less of a factor. I think people are going to take it how they take it. And I think you can't really control that. And so if something's valuable to you and you say it, you can't necessarily control how they take it in. You can't control how they receive it. And I don't think that it really makes sense for too many people to just walk on eggshells because they're afraid of how people may perceive what you're or interpret what you're saying. I understand, wanting to be careful and not wanting people to think that you don't care about them. But at the same time, unfortunately, that's something that you just can't control. And you have to know that you can't accept, or you have to accept things that you cannot control, things that you cannot change. And so I agree to a certain point, but I think more importantly, you cannot control how people take things, and some things just need to be said.
I can agree with that. Thank you, Kris. Thank you very much. All righty. So, ladies, this is our last question. How do we encourage women that don't fit the standard that society considers to be someone who can be encouraging? So, for example, if you are somebody who is younger and not necessarily older, and there's a stereotype that, they're too young, they haven't really lived, they don't know what they're talking about. How can we encourage those people to still be uplifting and empowering to other people? So who would like to give their feedback? Okay, so Damo and then Melissa, and then we'll go to whoever will be after that. All righty, Damo, please feel free.
So I love this question because I get this a lot, especially when I comment on, and anyone can feel how you feel, I don't mind, but especially when I comment on things like, how people treat their children. I don't have kids, but listen, I'm the oldest of 9. I don't think you have to have kids to know how to raise kids. I think some people have kids and don't know how to raise kids. So when it comes to this question and encouraging, like, I think that the best thing to do is, just because someone's younger, like, don't just straight be like, well, you don't know much, because you don't know what I've been through. I may have been through way more than you could ever think to go through, so where I'm coming from, I think wisdom, it comes with age, but it also comes with experience. So what you need to do is just be open to hear that person, because honestly, a lot of times the younger we do have a different opinion, an opinion that might be better because we're in a different time in the world. We're in a different time in society. So when it comes to those young girls, like me, I'm 28, when it comes to those young girls, or, someone who may be older but who isn't a mother, or who may, not, live in the Black community, that doesn't mean like just you can't feel oppression, or you can't like maybe understand why someone would be upset to a certain extent. So I think, just kind of like waiting and listening to that person. And if you feel they don't have the knowledge, maybe ask them where they got the knowledge from. Because child development, I took those classes. I know a lot about how kids' minds work. And I've been a kid myself, and how detrimental certain things can be when you say things to them. So yes, I think just giving that person an opportunity, because they may know more than you. They may know less than you. They may know something different than you, So that's how I think you can help help people like me want to encourage other people and feel safe and feel okay to say how, I feel safe to say how I feel, but, to say how you feel when you're around crowds that are a little bit older, or a little bit how they feel more experienced, than you are.
Thank you, Dom. I appreciate that. All righty, Melissa, what you got?
I feel the same way, because it's like, even though I'm only 30 years old, like, I feel like I've been through a whole lot of life. Like, to be honest, like, I lost my mom when I was 24, my grandmother when I was 26. And, it rocked me to my core at one point, because it's like, where everybody else around me had all of this like support or whatever, I just felt like very alone. And it took a toll on me. I'm not going to lie. And it's just like, when you feel alone, if you don't feel like that's supported, it makes your life and trying to get where you want to get in life like 10 times harder. than when somebody has like all the support, like moral support, like emotional, financial support. So it's just like, I feel like in a lot of ways, I can talk about a lot of situations because I've been through the ringer. And I feel like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what age you are. Like you can go through hell and back, but just as long as you've done the work to like bounce back, like you have every right to like speak your opinion when it comes to things or give your advice because you've been through it. And trust me, like I've been around people that are like twice my age, and I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, why would you say this? Like, seriously, like, are we like in the twilight zone? Like, what is going on here? And it's just like maturity doesn't like it has nothing to do with age. Like you can be mature at 12 and then be with like around somebody that's again an adult and not even know what the hell life actually is. And they're still doing decisions that are really dumb and stupid that affect everybody else around them. So it's just like you can't really judge that part of somebody just because you feel like they're not old enough to speak on a certain situation because you don't know what they went through or what they're still going through or what's going on behind closed doors.
Right.
And again, I agree with Dominique as well. Like I don't have kids either yet. Hopefully one day, and I am 30 years old, but it's just like a lot of times it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out when something is just not right. When you have that gut instinct that something is just not right, it's not right. It doesn't matter what age you are. Especially when it comes to kids, like I don't play when it comes to that at all.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you very, very much. Who else would like to? Yes, Damo and Melissa. Yes, there we go. All righty. Who else has some feedback they'd like to give? Luann. Oh wait, Jessica, and then I'll let Luann speak after Jessica. Go ahead, Jessica.
Yeah, so I think sometimes, like we've talked about, from both like a misogynistic, a colonialism issue, there's so much that people have ideas about, or like who should speak on something, who should like stay in their own lane. And I think that can be an issue sometimes too. So to encourage people who might not necessarily be some spokesperson or who might not necessarily be someone you would think would be typical to talk about something. I just think like Lizzo is the best example of this ever, because I know there was like a huge controversy, and this other lady I used to like and follow for weight loss tips and encouragement was Jillian Michaels. And she is like a white LGBTQIA plus person, but she's very judgmental, and she would encourage some people, but then put other people down if they didn't fit her, mode of what she thought was perfection, or that they weren't working hard enough. And she got into it, basically saying to and about Lizzo, like, why are we celebrating her body? Won't it be awesome if she gets diabetes? And of course, Lizzo, like, first of all, doesn't need validation from her or anyone. If you've ever been to one of her concerts, it's just like all positivity on every level, especially body positivity. I just love her. But like a quote from her that I just thought was amazing. She said, if you're confident in yourself and however you want yourself to be presented, and you're doing well and doing it because you want to do it, not because someone else is pressuring you, then more power to you. And she also said, every time I rap about being a big girl in a small world, it's doing a couple of things. It's empowering my self-awareness, my body image, and it's also making the statement that we are all bigger than this. So sometimes, like, you don't have to be the one that people would think should speak on something. You don't have to be the one that it is acceptable to say something. Sometimes you just have to give yourself agency and take back all of this judgment that other people have put on things, which kind of tied into that conversation before. I was like cringing a little bit with the question in the chat about like, how do you nicely say someone is obese? You don't need to say that at all. Maybe you just need to mind your damn business.
There you go.
Facts, Jessica. Yes.
Hold on 1 second, Luann. So before you comment, so Mario Marin asked if guests can join the panel if they have a question. Absolutely, they can. We are trying to keep this to a certain time limit. So once it gets to, I'd say about 2 hours, 15 minutes at the most, then we're going to cut this, we're going to end the stream for the day. So yeah, so if it gets to where it's 2 hours and 15 minutes and they haven't logged on, then they can always wait till the following Saturday. And if they have a question about a previous topic, they can definitely ask that at that time. So, all righty, Luann, you are up.
Can you say the question one more time? Because I heard.
So how do we encourage women that don't fit the stereotype of somebody who can be empowering? How do we encourage them to be empowering?
Okay, I thought we was talking about obesity. Okay, because I had something on that.
So, yeah.
Sorry.
I know that Clement, I can't with you.
To encourage, I think that just to encourage. That's since that's the question. How can we encourage other women?
Right. That don't. So, for instance, like Don was saying, somebody who's younger, who you might say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about because you ain't really lived. You don't really know about that." How can we encourage them to still want to be empowering to other women, even though they don't fit the stereotype of what society thinks should be somebody?
Well, we encourage them to join us, to join the conversations, to join what we're talking about, so they can learn what we are, what the older generation or who was before them is trying to teach them. You know that saying, kids are not to be seen but to be heard, or not to be heard or to be seen, or whatever. It will be that same model. We want to encourage them to come and listen to what we have to say, to also listen to their questions and their point of views as well, and don't let them feel like just because you don't understand what we're talking about doesn't mean that you don't belong.
Right. And that's the thing is, I think what happens is when you are younger, someone may say, "Oh, well, you like Don was saying, when you're not a mom." So say, "Oh, well, you've never been a mom, so you don't really know what it's like to have kids." And I mean, yeah, of course they have an experience having kids, but everybody has a story, and everybody goes through different things, and so there's things that somebody's gone through that you may not have gone through, and so what happens is your story becomes your testimony for somebody else. So I feel like whatever you've gone through can always be your story to empower somebody else, because we don't know the stories. You might be talking about something you've gone through, and someone's like, "Man, I'm so glad that you were able to talk, because now I feel like somebody understands." And you can uplift people, because when you've gone through it and you've been able to get over it, get past it, you can encourage somebody and uplift somebody and empower somebody, so they know that, yeah, you're going through that right now, but you can be able to move forward and do better. So, I mean, there's things that I've gone through, and I love talking to people about the things that I've gone through, even with my daughter, because I have something called polycystic ovary syndrome, which is where you have a lot of cysts in your ovaries. It's a lot harder for you to have kids. And a lot of women that have it, they have miscarriages and all different things like that. I, knock on wood, never had a miscarriage. But before I had my daughter, I started to go through depression because I didn't think I was going to be able to have any kids. And so when I found out I was going to have her, I was so thankful and so blessed. And I remember that there was somebody who I was friends with at the time, and she got pregnant, and she was all excited. And I just was upset, because I'm like, how come I'm not having, because when I found out I had it, I was happy. I was like, finally, I know why I'm not getting pregnant. But then when it's like you hear all these other people, it's like, well, how come it's not happening for me? Especially when you know the kind of person that you are and the kind of mother that you would be. It's hard. But you can be empowering for people that are struggling to have kids, that want to have kids that are struggling. You can be empowering for them that, things that are for you, like we said, things that are for you, and nothing, and it don't matter what you're thinking as far as, it's not, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And it's like, if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. So I can be empowering. Everybody can be empowering, no matter what you've gone through, you can use what you've gone through to uplift and empower other people. So I don't care what your age is. Everybody's gone through something. You can use what you've gone through to help somebody get through what they're going through. So, I mean, you can always be empowering, no matter if you're young or old. And that's the thing, is that just because you're older, yeah, you've gone through things that I probably have never gone through, probably never will go through. But just because I'm younger doesn't mean that I haven't gone through things that you've never gone through. So, I mean, that's things like I've never experienced I've never experienced losing a parent at a young age. So I can't be empowering for somebody that has, but somebody that has, you can be empowering for somebody else. So I don't think it matters if you are younger or older, because everybody has a story and everybody can be empowering in any kind of way. So yeah, that's my.
But I want to say first, Tammy, you can be there for someone who lost a parent. You just be there the way that person needs you to be there. You don't necessarily need to go through their struggles. So you can be very empowering.
Right.
Just for the fact of just sitting there and listening. Because I think sometimes, because we go through things that other people go through, we always feel like we have to have an answer. And sometimes the biggest help is not saying anything at all and just saying, I'm sorry you're going through this. I'm here if you need me. But I wanted to say that, I don't think being young or whatever negates you from having any viewpoint or any kind of feedback. I remember being a young, kind of derelict of a student in college, and I lived with a married couple. I helped with their little daughter, and it was it's intimate. I'm living with them, so I literally was like their other daughter. I traveled with them. I ate dinner with them. Like they checked my homework and make sure I was on time with school, everything. And I remember the wife would do like one-on-ones, and so me and her we just went for a walk, and she was like, "Oh, so how's it going? Blah blah blah." And I was just like, I need to tell you something, but I don't know how to say it. And so she was like, "Well, you can say anything." And I was just like, when you the other night at dinner, when you started yelling at your husband, it made me feel uncomfortable. And I don't think you should talk to him like that in front of me and your daughter, because it can make us look at him in a different way. And she was married like 20 some years, right? And here I am, some wet-nosed college student. And she was like, "Wow, I didn't think about that. Thank you." And then I had to say something to the husband. And he was like, "Oh, so I felt like they really empowered me to go, I don't necessarily have to walk what you walk. I know right and wrong. But I also know that, to me, as a married woman, I'm not taking advice from someone who's never been married, can't keep a man. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's also knowing your role, knowing your place. Because I think sometimes, "Oh, girl, I would do it this way," and blah, blah, blah. So I think we can get it twisted, where it's like, "Oh, I'm trying to help you, but I'm trying to check you, and I'm not," like, for instance, I'm not going to take nursing school advice from nobody who didn't go through nursing school. Simple. So I think sometimes knowing your place. And I think sometimes, as from younger women, from older women, I think sometimes the gap is, "Oh, I ain't gonna listen to you because I ain't gonna go through what you go through." So I think it could be an arrogance that blocks us from empowering each other, and from younger women learning from older women, or vice versa, because everybody think they right. Everybody, but we all trying to figure it out. There's no blueprint. So I think it's also just letting go the arrogance, like, "Oh, well, I ain't gonna have to go through that as a young married, because me and my husband, we gonna do it this way." And okay, cool. So do you, but I think it's also the humility to learn and to be taught.
Yes. Thank you, Queen. Appreciate that. Melissa, did you want to say something?
No, I already said what I had to say.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool beans. Okay. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add? Yes, Kris. Yes.
I really like this question because I feel like this was me. So before I started my channel, I was really afraid because my channel is on femininity. But the point of it was I'm not super feminine yet. I haven't reached like my version, like the ideal feminine woman. And I was hoping to kind of talk about that on my channel, like the journey itself. And I was really afraid people were going to like find all the gaps that I had and only think about those things instead of like learning with me. And when I found this community, like basically I start CKQ, Clement invited me onto his podcast. And then afterwards, he's like, you need to get this going. Like you need to speak your truth. And I feel like that's like the best advice. Like tell them, just do it. Like listen to what they have to say. Tell them that it has value. Tell them to do it. And also warn them that, you know, you can be the juiciest peach, but some people just don't like peaches. You know, like it's okay. Like you're going to have people who just don't like you, but speak your truth. You know, do what you have to do. Get out there, follow your purpose. I think that's the best advice you can give someone. Listen to them, tell them that they have value, and then tell them how they can add value. And don't allow them to go on the path and take value away from themselves. You know, warn them of those things.
Thank you, Kris. Appreciate that. Danielle, did you have anything you wanted to add at all?
No.
No.
You guys, God's
Okay.
question.
Okay, cool. Okay, just wanted to make sure I called on you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so if there's any guests that want to join the panel, you're more than welcome to. The link is in the chat. Please feel free. The link is there for you. If nobody else has anything to add, we are going to have lovely Lutan, who's going to read a poem to close us out.
Okay, can y'all give me a second?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Y'all let me know when y'all ready.
Oh, we ready. We waiting on you, girl.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Okay.
All right, y'all ready?
Yes, ma'am.
It's called Power. So I've been over here scratching some words out and going crazy because it doesn't sound that good to me, but it's okay. That's the life of a poet. All right, so it's called Power, like I said, and let's go. The strength to rise from the pain, to continue at all costs. The strength to prolong all the shame, knowing that you are lost. The strength to smile when all you feel is anger and strife. The strength to substitute your bad days with Ben's and Jerry's and Mary Jane. Now that's the power in me. The strength to try again and again after failing so many times. The strength of words burning within your soul. The strength to say you're broken when your pride is suffering. That's the power in you. The strength to look into the mirror and know you still are fierce. The strength to say, I love you. Now that's the power in us. That's it.
Very wonderful. Yes. Very nice. Very nice. Yes. Yes. Very nice.
I see you,
Awesome.
Luann.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luann. Thank you for that poem. Thank you very much. So we are going to have everybody shout out their social media. And then we are going to go ahead and close it out. So we'll start from my screen.
Miss Tammy?
Yes,
It looks
ma'am.
like we might have a guest. I just got a message.
Oh,
Okay, absolutely.
Yay!
I forgot one little thing, ladies.
Uh-oh. What did you forget?
What is it?
I love Maya Angelou, and I just wanted to read a little snippet of her little thing. I don't know if you could do that.
Okay.
And it's called Phenomenal Woman. Yeah, I know.
Oh, absolutely.
We all phenomenal, right?
Me.
But no, I want everybody to speak first, and then I can go ahead.
No, go ahead, girl. You got the spotlight. Go ahead.
On you, girl.
Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say it's the reach of my arms and the span of my hips, the stride of my steps and the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. Yeah.
Damn.
Thank you.
Yes.
I thought that would be
Virtual
good
snap.
because we all
Virtual
women in
snap.
here and we're all phenomenal. I love you guys, and today was just awesome.
Thank you. So if we have a guest, if they want to go ahead and come on, we are waiting for you. All righty.
Yes.
Is that DJ Ebony?
Welcome.
Mr. Hall of Fame, how are you?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate the love. Thank you. I just want to say to all of you, thank you for jumping on this platform. I appreciate networking and communicating with all of you. Even when it's something crazy, even when it's something cool, it's always entertaining just to build great relationships with all of you. And thank you all for just having the courage and the fortitude, the love, and just everything that you all have brought to the table. I really do appreciate it, and I'm glad that Knowledge and Relationships has a great platform now for women. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that you represent that. And I just want to say thank y'all. God bless y'all. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hall of Fame. We appreciate it.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and have everybody shout out their social media. We'll go ahead and start with Kris. You can go ahead and shout out your social media.
Yeah, first I'd like to say thank you so much. I learned so much in this panel. It's wonderful. I feel like I've seen bits of all of you young ladies for the most part, and they were like little mini trailers for this like big movie, and it was way better than I even expected it to be. Thank you so much for inviting me and being here tonight. It was wonderful. But if you'd like to follow me, you can find me on Instagram at The Blooming Ebony, and I'm also on YouTube, The Blooming Ebony, talking about femininity and growth. And I would love to see you over there. Please subscribe and follow me and send me a like or a DM. I would love to learn more about you.
Thank you, Kris. Thank you very much. All righty. Melissa.
Hey, okay, so I just want to say I'm very grateful for being chosen or asked to be a part of this podcast, like Kris just said, but it's been a blessing and I've enjoyed every minute of it, and it can only go up from here. So congratulations, lady, like we did it. Like I'm so happy and so proud of all of us. And for my social media presence, you can find me on all social media, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. It's either Melissa Natasha Stewart or MNS Angel 91. So pretty simple. And I hope everybody had a fantastic night.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you very, very much. All righty, Danielle. Would you like to shout out your social media?
Yes, my Facebook is the Danielle You Gotta Wanna Be Great Malone. My Instagram is Fly Nurse Mom Wife. Feel free to come on over.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Danielle. Thank you very much. All righty. Okay, next is the Queen Down. The Queen Down. Okay.
So that's my name on everything. So you can probably find me on Facebook. That's my Instagram. And then Snapchat, you can find me with the same name. And then Facebook, you can find me with that name or Dominique Robinson. Thank you guys for inviting me to be on the stream. I really loved it. I really had fun. And yeah, I look forward to the next couple of Saturdays. So.
Thank you, Dom.
Hey, we got this.
All righty, we got Queen Forever 2K21. Go ahead, Queen.
Hi, you can follow me on Instagram, Queen Forever 2K21. And yeah, I was very excited to be a part of it. I think we had a great show, and I look forward to many more.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. All righty, Miss Luann Love.
Oh yeah, y'all shouldn't have saw that part. Okay, so taking all of my spider eyes. Okay, so tonight was awesome. I really, really, really enjoyed myself. I wanted to also say that Melissa, you are super gorge. I love that lipstick. You are super gorge.
Oh, thank you. Love you back.
My Instagram, my Facebook is Luann Love. Instagram is Ladybug5150, and I'm not really that much on Snapchat or anything yet.
Thank you, Luann. Appreciate that.
Luann,
Thank
you're
you.
gorgeous. Well, don't worry about it. You are.
Thank you.
All right, we got Jessica. It is your turn, my lady.
All right. Yeah, like all of you ladies have mentioned, I'm really grateful for having been asked to participate in this live stream. I learned so much from you all tonight, and it really helped with a stressful week to be empowered and learn so much from all of you. My Instagram is Jessica011488. And Facebook is just Jessica Hansen. And I hope to just continue learning from you all and maybe do some more of the lives.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you very, very much. And we have Mrs. M3.
Hey, y'all. Hey. So happy that we made it through our very first stream. Thank you, Mr. Hall of Fame, for this wonderful idea that you put together. Tammy, for coordinating everything and getting us all on one accord, in the same boat, going the same direction. I can be found right here on Knowledge and Relationships, Mr. M3, my husband, broadcasting, and all that wonderful stuff. We have Knowledge and Relationships is his podcast. We are on Mondays, 5:30, and Thursdays, 5:30, and now with the Femme Crew, M3 TV News on Saturdays, also 5:30. So 5:30 Pacific time. That's 3 hours ahead on on the East Coast, and 1 hour ahead Central. So you are 4:30 Central and 2:30 in New York and Virginia and the East Coast. And we look forward to seeing you. Please chime in, like us, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and also smash that notification bell so you get everything. You don't miss one Monday, Thursday, or Saturday. See y'all soon, right here.
Thank you, Mrs. M3.
Hey.
And then this is my turn. My turn. So I just want to say I thoroughly enjoyed this entire stream. Everybody's comments, everybody, feedback. I think it was an amazing first of many Women's Ladies Night stream. I think it was awesome and amazing. So I'm looking forward to every other Saturday that is going to be happening and everybody that comes on. So I just want to thank you ladies. You ladies are all amazing. And so thank you. And then I'm usually on the Knowledge and Relationships that we do on Mondays and Thursdays. And then of course now Saturdays. But if you need my social media, Instagram, First Lady Tammy 916. So that is for my social media. So other than that, I still have the spotlight. Hey, so thank you very much. But I thoroughly enjoyed every lady that is on here. I had a really great time. I'm looking forward to the next. And I guess that is it. We are closing out. Thank you for joining us and hope you come back next Saturday. Next Saturday, we're going to be talking about the importance of self-care. So next Saturday, we're talking about the importance of self-care. So definitely tune in to next Saturday. But yes, Luann, yes.
I want to say that Shar Richardson is set to run next week. So let's support her.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. Yes, definitely. All righty. So on that note, we are done.
Peace.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Tune in next weekend.
Yes.
See you.
Look at this. Look at the back